As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be.
Oh man, it's 8 o'clock.
And so that'll make it a.
I don't need the spotlight. I shine just fine.
Hi, I'm Karma, and yes, I am a bitch.
Brav Bros. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Brav Bros, your favorite podcast from the bros for everybody, for whoever wants to listen. I am your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by the incorrigible Magoots. What's up, dude?
Good to be back in the studio.
Yeah.
A lot of remote action. Might have some remote action on the horizon, depending on how the next week goes, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, we are officially on Baby Watch.
Baby Watch 2024.
Baby Watch 2024. Everyone's favorite Baby Watch. We are a week away from the due date, so it could be any day now. Hopefully sooner rather than later, for Dev's sake. But yes, super excited. Can't wait for that little girl to be here. But
New co-host alert.
New co-host. If you see me with a baby on YouTube, don't be alarmed. It's my baby.
Yep.
I didn't steal a baby. Okay? Just to clear that up right now.
People think that you would steal a baby?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They don't
Never
know me. You never know. I wouldn't. But if you see me with a baby, it's my baby.
The more we talk about it,
The more plausible it may seem
yeah.
that I might steal a baby. I won't. It will be my baby.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Totally.
Yeah, totally. But welcome back. We are here to discuss a little RHOC. There's a lot going on with RHOC right now in current times on the show. So this is an action-packed episode, especially considering the fallout that we've seen from it.
Yeah, no, it's been an action-packed season, honestly.
Yeah.
But this is everything coming to a head, and it has nothing to do with Alexis. We were Alexis-free this episode, the
nice.
whole episode, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, she's a thorn in my side.
Uh-huh.
She's a rock in my crock, if you will.
Any more?
What's
What's a crock?
What?
Like a crock pot?
No, like Crocs.
Oh, like literal feet Crocs.
A rock
Shoes.
in my crock.
I've never heard that before.
I just made it up.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Usually you're not that like quick.
Wow, that's pretty rude. I think I'm very quick. It's just when I consistently try to throw shit at the wall, it may seem like my averages are off.
It seemed too good to be something that you just came up with.
Well, I was going to say a rock in my shoe, and I was like, there's got to be something that rhymes with it. And I was like, a crock is a shoe.
Yeah. You a croc guy?
I'm not against being a croc guy.
Some camo Crocs, probably.
I had camo Crocs.
Uh-huh.
Me, Kev, and then a few of my buddies from Pocono used to do Croctoberfest,
Okay.
where we would all meet in Pocono. We have to wear Crocs for the whole weekend, and we just drink beer and cook food and hang out. And it was called Croctoberfest.
Sounds fine.
It was phenomenal.
It's a good way to make a party out of something.
Yeah, we may need to revisit Croctoberfest, actually. Maybe I need to order some Crocs. Here's the problem. Crocs are expensive now. They're
Are they?
cool. Yeah. They went way up from what they used to be.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd ever do it.
Anyway, RHOC. We're here to
Talk about Rocktoberfest.
Yeah, Rocktoberfest.
Doesn't start with an H.
RHOC.
Housewives reel of...
No, it's RHOC. It's like what? WH. Well, let me tell you something.
going really well.
I got an hour of sleep last night, all right? We had an OB appointment today. Dev and I did not sleep well. I'm running on an hour of sleep. So that's what you're going to get.
My favorite is when you are tired, you just stop talking sometimes.
Yeah.
Like you'll just go in, and normally I'm like, all right, he's going to go for a couple more sentences. Nope, done.
No, when I'm sleepy, I don't.
You literally just did it.
I don't tee
You
up.
stopped talking and you turned around and like reached down for something like a water or something. I'm like, okay.
I reached for my journal and I was like, he'll take over. Yeah. I don't lead you on or lead you into him.
You do not lead me on.
No,
right?
I just you gotta
You always deliver.
you gotta figure it out, pal.
Uh-huh.
Anywho, welcome back. We're excited to talk about this episode. We also dove into the current events of RHOC on our news episode that was available to everybody. That was a one-time only thing. If you listened to that episode and you enjoyed it, we drop those weekly on our exclusive feed for our Brav Bros members. So if you would like to listen to those moving forward, make sure that you sign up for Brav Bros members. You can click the link at the bottom of the episode description or the Instagram bio, links in there, or just go to thebros.memberful.com. $5 for the month, $50 for the year, exclusive episodes weekly, plus so much more.
So much more.
But let's talk RHOC. I agree with you. This has been a very good season of Housewives. It's delivered on all fronts just when you think that we are solely focused on Alexis and Johnny J and all of that nonsense, which has run its course for me. I'm good on talking about it.
I'm good.
They present us with a brand new bombshell that is just as tasty of a morsel, if you will. It's a very intriguing topic from top to bottom, especially for us. It crosses over into the sports realm with the Shohei Ohtani gambling scenario. So there's a lot to unpack here. And at the helm, you have Tamra attacking Ryan, which is always fun for me because when Tamra goes on the onslaught, the hypocrisy shines more than ever.
Oh, it's incredible. There are things that we would have not thought about to go after her for that she herself will bring up.
Yes.
Without realizing or looking in the mirror and saying, hey, maybe I shouldn't say that because I do the exact same thing
Yes.
on a very similar platform, except I do it, I don't know how many episodes they have a week, but multiple episodes a week, I assume.
I don't know. Let's not make that claim. No idea. how
Let's
many
not.
they're
Let's
dropping.
not make that claim. Maybe they do it once a week.
Who knows? Who knows?
No idea. Ryan goes on one podcast, says a couple of things, some of which is completely innocuous. Some of it is actually nice for Tamra+Eddie. But let's spin it around and say that I don't do anything. But it's because I say it's the truth. That's going to set me free. Sure.
I think the best
Whatever.
part about it has been the fallout from other
Backtrack.
Bravo. Well, but the classic backtrack from Tamra is going to happen every time she gets in hot water. We've seen that time and time again. The amount of Bravo lebs crawling out of the woodwork now to air out their grievances with her. Gretchen Rossi came out and said some shit. A lot of other Bravo lebs have come out and said some things about Tamra, just alluding to the fact that, yeah, this is a repeat offense. She says a bunch of things about people that are simply untrue. Nobody challenges her, really. They'll check her a little bit, but then she claims that she didn't mean it that way. She apologizes. We move on. It seems as though this one has stuck, and maybe that's because Ryan pushed the lawsuit through. I don't know. But it is interesting to watch this one break down because it's different. She's actually being held accountable, finally. And I'm here for it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we need, too. We've always wanted Tamra to be on the defensive. Now we're starting to see that this is off-season stuff.
Yeah.
I want to watch it unfold in front of our eyes, which we're going to have to wait for the reunion for, because I don't see her being on the defensive for the rest of the season. Just based off of this interaction that we had at the end of this episode, when she is very much so opening herself up for so much more that she doesn't realize. But she's so blinded by, I'm so right now because I know the truth and I'm going to blow it like completely out of the water. So she's not going to take any accountability. She's not going to be on the defensive, which we know her usual move. Jen, actually, there's a clip from last season that I completely forgot about, but Jen sheds light on that. I know exactly how you are when you're defensive and you're in a corner. Yeah, you lash out and you start screaming. That's all you really do. And you just think that you're the loudest person there, so you're going to get away with it. Doesn't look like it's going to work this time, so let's hope for the best here.
That, and she claims, I'm just the truth teller. It's like,
Yeah.
no, you're not.
Yeah.
Just because you lie and say you're telling the truth doesn't make it true. But we could go on and on for days. Let's jump into this episode, and we start out with Emily, Tamra, and Gina, and they're just recapping the party at Jen's house and mainly the Alexis of it all and her reaction to it, and just the fact that this could have just been a heart-to-heart, that they could have sat one-on-one and figured this out between Heather and Emily. But then when Alexis weirdly got involved and kept trying to make it about her and kept trying to force an issue that simply was not there. There was no issue to be had. She didn't say anything derogatory towards you. But it makes sense as to why she's getting so fucked up about the whole thing, because we get the so much is going to come out tomorrow, and like she's fucked, Tamra. Or Tamra says she's fucked. So all of this stuff is starting to come out. We find out later that the lawsuit is officially dropped, and People Magazine got a hold of it. So now everybody knows that John Jansen is suing Alexis. Sorry. Everybody knows that John Jansen is now suing Shannon.
Suing Shannon.
Suing Shannon Bador.
Shannon.
Suing Shannon Bador. So that is what we're chalking up Alexis' bizarre behavior to, that she was trying to keep from spilling the beans.
I guess. And really all that says to me is Shannon's right. Shannon is correct in the sense that Alexis's / John's, because let's be honest, they probably share a PR team.
Sure.
They're involved. They're leaking the story to People Magazine. They're getting involved with all of this because they want the general public to know what's going on. Again, if you remember this time last year, everybody was still thinking about Shannon's DUI. So this could have been the straw that broke the camel's back. Thankfully, people started to turn a little bit before the story dropped, but it's definitely their PR team. And I think that, weirdly enough, maybe Alexis has a conscience. Maybe she's sitting there and she knows that the PR team is about to drop this information and she doesn't know, it's not sitting well enough with her. I don't know.
I think she's worried about
She was
backlash.
anxious. You think it was the backlash?
Yeah, because she hasn't been apologetic. She's gone on the defensive
Yeah.
the entire season. I don't think that she feels bad for any part of this.
I think she's anxious. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it's the court of public opinion and her involvement in it, because up until now it's been kind of close knit. Your involvement in it for Alexis is, you're basically just the figurehead for John Jansen at this point. You're the talker.
You're the mouthpiece.
You're the mouthpiece. You're going to go here and say everything that he wants you to say. But now that it's very public knowledge and your relationship is also very public knowledge, you're going to get dragged. You have the potential of getting dragged.
Yep.
And it's a bad look. So I think even deep down, she might understand that it's a bad look. Maybe.
I think
It just doesn't mean that she's going to apologize at all. I think that
she
she has a conscience in the sense that she knows that it could be a bad look for her and she might have some backlash.
Yeah, I think that she recognizes it's not going great.
Yeah.
And is now a little worried about public perception and what's going to come from all of this. That I agree with, but I don't think she feels bad.
No, I never said that she felt bad. I just said that she had a conscience.
Fair. All right, that's fair. But move on to Terry and Heather. Terry is getting his septum fixed, but I think he might just want a nose job, which is fine. You know, no judgment here. But she's recapping Jen's as well, and her dilemma is she's trying to figure out who her real friends are. Now, here's the thing. Last year, a lot of people went after Heather. They were trying to get her caught up on some bullshit, and they were throwing a lot of stuff against the wall, hoping it would stick against her. So I understand the confusion sometimes, because it does seem like she gets caught in people's crosshairs. Now, the two people of concern are Gina and Emily. Here's my issue. Because of the way that you approach arguments, Heather, such as the dress situation, because of the way you approach it, you're unapproachable and you won't hear anybody out. Emily was not trying to skewer you or come after you. She was trying to get you to understand, hey, this is why this upset me. Heather doesn't hear that. She takes it as, you're insulting me and my fashion show. You're being overly sensitive. What's your problem? Gina is Gina. And, you know, the whole Katie situation with the paparazzi was bizarre and random. Sure, you could question some things there. But I feel like her inability to find out who her true friends are is hindered by the fact that she's incapable of having a two-way conversation about what's going on.
Yeah, no, I would absolutely chalk that up for the exact same reasons. That's how Heather operates. And we've seen Heather operate like this time and time again. We both agree where Emily was coming from. We both agree how the conversation could have gone a lot different. I don't even think that Alexis was that big of an issue in all of it. I still think that if it was just Emily and Heather talking, we still would have had the same reaction from Heather.
I agree.
Maybe at some point towards the end, Emily could articulate it in a way that Heather would understand that she's not coming after her. She's not going after her bad behavior or her being a bad friend or anything. She's just trying to get her feelings across. Maybe Heather could understand that at some point, but I still think it would have gone the exact same way. And I love that Terry's still sitting here like completely dissecting exactly how Heather operates. It takes you, about like 3 times. You have to go over it 3 times. It's the rule of 3s with you. You need to go over it painstakingly every single time with anybody that's involved. You're going to do it 3 times and then you can finally move on. She hated that. She absolutely hated that.
Despised it. And the funniest part is TBD, Terry Dubrow, did exactly to Heather what Heather does to other people.
Yeah.
Because Heather started talking over him. He goes, I'm done. I'm not doing this. Like, this is what you do. I'm not doing this. And Heather's getting visibly upset at this. Terry's like, I'm done. Like, I'm not doing this. This is how you do it. I'm not doing it. I'm not playing your game. They go off camera, off mic, hot mic.
Hot mic.
Don't admonish me on camera. Well, don't do that. Don't talk over me. Well, don't admonish me on camera. I don't like that. I don't like that, Terry. Yeah, you're right. He called you out.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't see any problem with it because, again, he's literally play-by-play of how you operate. And then he just flipped the script on you. And
I
you
love
don't
that
like
the
it.
edit also does him pretty well, too.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, no, you're right, Terry. Terry is right.
Terry was correct. That's all. But moving on, we get to Jen and Ryan at Dan Flash's. The Vault. And God, this store literally is Dan Flash.
Oh my God, yeah, it's incredible.
Like, I was dying. And if you haven't seen I Think You Should Leave, do yourself a favor and watch the Dan Flash's episode, and you'll be like, wow, this is where Ryan shops. The crazy part to me, though, there was, in fact, a shirt that was too crazy.
Yep.
And based on the Dan Flash's moniker, the crazier the pattern, the more expensive. That shirt must have been 10 grand because that shit was crazy.
Easily. And to find out that Eddie also shops there?
Not surprising.
That? 2 P's.
Hey now.
What
can we call that podcast? Eddie and Ryan. ER.
Yeah, that works somehow. But yeah, I mean, between that and I'm not going to go on about the tailoring of the underwear.
You must go on about it. Could you imagine going to a tailor and being like, hey, can you hem these bad boys for me with like a pair of Lulu fucking briefs?
Yeah, no, I can't imagine that. Just get something that fits.
Could you, wait a minute, I didn't even think about that part. In order to tailor them, you have to measure them. You're measuring this man's, oh no, sir. Yeah. You can't be having people all up in your business measuring your briefs.
Nope.
That's not okay. I have a problem with this now. I just broke it down.
Now you have a problem with it.
I don't care for it. You should never be getting measured in briefs. That's not fair to the tailor.
How do you think it works, though? Do you have to get measured? I don't know how far I want to break this down.
I know.
Yeah, I'm going to. Do you have to get measured in all different environments? Talk about temperatures. When it's warm out, when it's cold out.
Look. Well,
do you have winter briefs?
Well,
that you only wear then?
A dirty premise. But a valid one.
Yeah.
If you're getting it tailored, it means that it's fitting tightly.
Yeah.
It's on the nose.
I imagine so.
Or on the tip, if you will.
On the tip of the nose.
Yeah, that's a good question. But I think that's fucking insane to get your t-shirts, briefs, jeans.
This is when you have to turn around and say, some people should not have the money that they have.
Well,
you're going to spend money on tailored briefs.
That to me sounds like somebody that has a lot of money that doesn't, I don't want to, alleged.
What are you going to say?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. We'll wait for the case to shake out.
Okay.
But anyway, they're going over Tamra and Eddie and that whole debacle. And here's the thing about Ryan. And I do firmly believe a lot of it's performative. We're not going to sit here and defend Ryan as though he is a great dude, because obviously he has shortcomings as well in this whole thing. But
you can ask the tailor about that. Hey,
hey now, where was I? Well, Jen says that her and Tamra are going to try to move forward, and Ryan says, "I love that for you." Like, he's not trying to get involved, at least seemingly on the camera. I don't believe that that's his actual sentiment. It cuts quickly over to Tamra and Eddie, and they like Jen. Because I guess Eddie had to have been Jen's trainer, which makes sense. And if they were training while she was going through a bunch of shit, she's obviously divulging things and leaning on him during this process. So they have a close relationship. So Jen wants to make this all work. Tamra and Eddie, at least face value, want to make it work with Jen. They don't really give a fuck about Ryan. But you get the little clips of the podcast that they were on, the All About the Real Housewives podcast. And it's Ryan's clip of... When I would talk to people at the gym about Tamra and Eddie, it was nothing positive. When it goes back to Jen and Ryan at Dan Flash's, Ryan justifies going on the podcast. He goes, I didn't say shit until I heard Eddie talking shit.
Yeah.
Once I heard that, at that point, I went on and defended myself. He did not go on a bunch of podcasts. He went on one. It was this podcast, and if you go back and listen, and that's the craziest part, is Tamra then goes on to say they edited the podcast to make it sound differently, which is simply untrue. It's from the same exact date that it was posted to the All About the Real Housewives podcast. You can go back and listen to it yourself. He doesn't say anything defamatory. He literally says, I didn't hear anything positive. When they ask him about the kid situation in the house, he says, I'm not going to speak on that. I don't live under their roof. So he said a little bit, but he really didn't get into it.
Look, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, too, based off of how Tamra treated Jen last year, which is no secret. Jen's even now talking about it on podcasts, and she's putting stuff out there on Instagram. based on how Tamra was treating Jen, bringing her on the show just to bash her and question her entire relationship with Ryan, talk about her ex-husband, talk about all the things that are going on in her life, and watching the beginning of this season where everybody's talking about Jen's finances, and Tamra didn't help her out one bit. Why would Tamra be a good friend? Why would Ryan, as a good supporting boyfriend, go on a podcast and have anything nice to say about Tamra and by extension Eddie? All he said was, yeah, there was nothing positive to be said. It's the same thing that Eddie was talking about when he went over to Ryan's for the barbecue and heard one of his friends talking about how he goes after girls with husbands.
Married women, yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's the same type of situation. It's tit for tat at that point. Leave him alone. It's not even remotely close to what Tamra did to Jen last year, and he's being a supportive boyfriend, which is insane to say because we're on Ryan's side for this one.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's
I never
a
saw
weird
it
turn of
coming.
events.
And what drives me crazy, and it happens throughout the episode, it goes to Tamra in a confessional, and she's like, if he wants to be a little bitch about it, well, if you did this to me, I'm going to do it to you. It's like, what do you expect? You can't throw rocks and not expect to get some clap back. You've been doing this uninhibited for a very long time. This wasn't even the worst. He could have said a lot worse. He didn't. But yeah, if you do it, he's going to clap back. That's what happened. And then you're going to call him a little bitch for it because you're not used to it.
Should have been a little bitch counter.
There was a lot of
those this episode. Oh, yeah.
There was also a lot of little bitches on the screen, so it was fitting.
Yep.
But it was just so frustrating. It's par for the course. It drives me crazy. It's whatever. We keep going. Shannon is back from the tour, and it's refreshing as she's talking to her daughter on FaceTime, where she's also like, that dude sucks about Johnny J.
Yeah.
We find out that the lawsuit is officially dropped. Everybody knows about it. She's saying, like, I thought I was at rock bottom. It's just like stuff keeps popping up and
I
popping
think
up.
you have to stop saying it's dropped.
What do you say? Lawsuit.
Just official would probably be fine.
The lawsuit.
Filed.
Oh, yeah. Dropped makes it sound like
It's gone.
it's gone.
Yeah.
The lawsuit's been filed.
There we go.
Yeah. The lawsuit's been filed. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And so she's just.
Like a new album just dropped.
Yeah, that's what yo, check it out. The new lawsuit, the new Johnny J lawsuit just dropped. But the lawsuit drops, and Shannon is distraught. Like she can't catch a break. Every time she seems like she's getting a leg up, they knock her back down. So now she's in spiral mode, and Tamra calls her. No answer. Tamra's phone rings. Butt dial. When I get a butt dial from somebody, I say hello a few times and I hang up.
And then you hang up. You don't listen to their conversation.
No, because that's creepy.
Yeah.
That's invasive and that's rude. You don't do that. But she's sitting there with a big shit-eating grin on her face on speakerphone, listening to the fallout of the John Jensen lawsuit. And Shannon is in tatters. I'm exhausted. I'm so tired of this. I can't do this anymore. She's literally, you're hearing a woman break.
Mm-hmm.
And Tamra's sitting there like, eating it all up. She loves it. And then you hear through the phone, I think Alexis hired a publicist. That's it.
Yep.
Okay, that's really important because that's all that was said.
Well, that's all that was said until Shannon comes back and realizes that her phone is on.
Hello?
And she goes, hello, and Tamra hangs up. That's such a fucking loser move.
Slimy.
If you're going to sit there and listen to her the entire time and then not have the balls to say, hey, I think I heard you talking in the background. Are you okay? You're not a good friend.
She's
Stop
a terrible
acting
friend.
like you're a good friend. Stop acting like the whole tough love thing in the beginning of the season was from a place of a good friend. You're just not a good friend. You're a piece of shit that listens to people who were not talking to you. This was a fluke that you even got to hear any of this, let alone the fact that you then share it later as if it's your piece of information. And look, the way that she did it was, it's deplorable that she was doing it in the first place, but I know exactly what she was doing. She tried to get sympathy for Shannon, but for herself.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I got a call back. It was a butt dial. Pause. Long pause. Then you go and divulge the information that you were not meant to hear in the first place. Shannon doesn't want you sharing her business. That's what this is all about. She doesn't want her personal life out there. She doesn't want any of this going on. So by you doing that, you're just perpetuating the situation, knocking her down again, because now all these women are going to say, are you okay? We heard that Tamra heard you on the phone. I hope that Shannon can go back after hearing that and say, what the fuck are you doing, you slimeball?
I hope she has that moment where she gets to stand face to face with Tamra and just air out her
Yeah,
shit.
it was gross.
I hated it. I couldn't believe that I could believe that she did that. But at the same time, it's just such a dirty, dirty play.
Yeah.
Like you said, you're not supposed to be privy to this information. So at the very least, divulge that you heard it and don't spread it around.
Yeah.
But whatever. We check in with Katie and Matt, not Todd. For whatever reason, I thought this man's name was Todd.
Why?
He looks like a Todd.
Okay.
He's just
I guess I kind of get that.
He's got a Todd face.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't mean that in any negative way. It's just, that sounded mean.
It did sound
So
mean.
if any Todds are listening, I like the name Todd. I just think that he looked like a Todd. Why does it sound bad?
I don't know. It does sound
Doesn't
bad.
it sound
yeah.
bad?
The more you say it, maybe just stop saying it.
What if I put it's like a Todd? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's really bad. God.
Sorry to all the Todds out there. I got to stop saying it.
I know.
Katie and Matt.
You're apologizing to Todds?
He's
For what?
Yeah, fucking Todd. It comes out really well.
It does.
Katie and Matt, they're having the whole crew over except for Shannon because it's couples only, which I get, but at the same time, I felt bad. I feel like Shannon needs people right now. That scene with her and Archie in bed made me sad.
Yeah.
That made me really sad.
Well, she's got Archie.
I got Archie, which thank
Archie,
God.
good dog.
Yeah, thank God, good dog Archie. But yeah, that was sad for me. But Heather's not going. She doesn't want to deal with Katie. It's so funny that this is such a sticking point.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a do bro thing. This is so not a big deal.
No.
But she is acting like I don't associate with people like that. Tuh. But anywho, I do have to give a quick shout out to Terry's new nose, only because I was confused as to what he was doing when he's under the sheet. He's like, look, and he does something.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna
Yep.
do it.
Okay.
And both the doctor and Heather are like, what is that? He goes, I'm ripped. Oh, okay. That's not what because it looked like you were jerking off.
Yeah. it definitely looked like it, but
What?
no.
Yeah, no. You know, no.
I don't know. A hospital gown's pretty freeing,
Shut
you know.
the fuck up, Todd.
That is a Todd move.
Yeah, it's such a Todd move. I feel really bad for Todds. I didn't see
know.
this coming. What's up, bros? If you're anything like me, then you agree. Prices are way too high right now. Everything's too expensive. Inflation's up, and the thought of investing your money in the stock market might seem daunting or impossible, or maybe you think you need a ton of money to get started. Well, I'm here to tell you with Acorns, that is not the case. Acorns makes it easy to start automatically saving and investing for your future. You don't need a lot of money or expertise to invest with Acorns. In fact, you can get started with just your spare change. And Acorns recommends an expert-built portfolio that fits you and your money goals and then automatically invests your money for you. I have used Acorns. I love Acorns. I think the scariest part of investing is how to get started. Well, with Acorns, it can take your spare change, meaning if I spend $12.75 at the store, Acorns rounds it up to $13, takes that 25 cents, sticks it in my portfolio, and automatically invests it for me. Doesn't seem like a lot of money, but 25 cents here, 50 cents there, all of your purchases in a week, month, year, 2 years, 5 years. Now you've built yourself up a nice little portfolio. It's a great start, a great way to get introed into investing, and it will not break your budget to do so. So head to acorns.com/bravbros or download the Acorns app to start saving and investing for your future today. Client testimonial compensation provides incentive to positively promote Acorns. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. View important disclosures at acorns.com/bravbros. Well, Gina is at her house and you get to see Matt and Britt. And I have to say, because she tends to change up the accent willy-nilly. The intent behind saying meatballs the way that she was saying it and also repeating it.
God, how many times did she say it? I counted like 4 or 5 at least.
There's at least 5, and she wanted to do that to highlight that she's from New York. Meatballs. Hey, you don't say any other word like that, but when you say meatballs, like, hey, you gave
She
me
says
a fuck.
coffee.
Okay. That's not the same as meatballs. Like she drags it.
Close.
BAWLZ.
Yeah.
Meatballs. You want a meatball?
Is her dog named Meatball too?
Oh,
Isn't that part of
I
it?
think so.
I think her dog's named Meatball, and so that just
Then she
it's a
doubled down.
built-in way for her to just say meatball as much as she wants.
You want a meatball? Meatball? I'm from Long Island. Come on. But anyway, she's talking about the Travis scenario with these two, which is nice to see genuinely that she has a good relationship with her ex. I know it was rocky for a while. So that was nice. I like that scene. I like that she gets along with Britt. The whole dynamic made me
Very
weirdly happy.
Dolores Frank.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you know what made me really sad?
What's that?
The reenactment or watching the video of the wedding that the kids put on for Travis and Gina. That really bummed me out.
Yeah.
And
That
then
was a sad one.
in hearing her, the more she talks about it, the more I'm starting to feel for her in this bizarre scenario because it's becoming more and more evident that this is 100% a Travis issue with his ex.
Yeah.
That's what led to the split, not split, but the moving out. Whereas before it was painted a little bit differently. The more she talks about it, the more evident it is like the ex is ruining their current relationship, or at least according to Gina. And that's sad.
That is very sad.
But
Sad for the kids.
it's for the kids. Think about the kids.
Think about the kids.
Think
Somebody,
about the kids.
please think about the children.
Someone just think about the kids. But we get to Katie's, and everybody arrives. I think it's important to note that when they get there and order drinks, Eddie, sparkling water. Tamra, extra dirty martini.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I am under the impression that she was marinating when she got there. I think there was some pre-gaming
Based off
going
of
on.
the walk-in, yeah.
Based on the
I would agree
walk-in,
with that.
I think she came into the house already a little fired up.
But
But
it's weird because if you watch her on Watch What Happens Live, she just continues to say,
I don't
two
drink.
drinks and I'm done.
yeah, I've yet to see 2 drinks and done.
Nope.
Yet to see it, unless you count spilling one.
Yeah.
But we'll get there. But Eddie walks up to Ryan arrives and walks up to Eddie and tries to shake his hand. It was an awkward interaction. And look, I understand if someone just talks some smack about you, you may not be buddy-buddy with them. I'll tell you this, if I'm going to somebody's house party and there's a person there that I don't get along with, what I'm not going to do is draw attention to that.
Yeah.
And draw attention to myself in a negative light to fuck up the entire party. If there's an awkward interaction, I'll shake his hand and keep him at an arm's length so he understands there's no hug happening here, but it's nice to see you. Let's go our separate ways so we don't make idiots out of ourselves in front of all of these people.
Yes, but on a reality TV show that is about the Housewives,
The men have to get involved.
gotta get involved.
I need the men
You
involved.
know anything, especially from our Mormon friends,
Mm-hmm.
the men have to get involved and make it about themselves.
It's irritating. It's honestly irritating. And Eddie like stomps off. He's like, I got nothing to say to you. And I just wrote down, Jesus, grow up. You're now audibly causing a scene because you're not saying it quietly. You're walking away. And to me, that's trying to be like, like a tough guy, like walk away while talking smack. Ryan goes to the other room, calls Eddie a little bitch.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of, like you said,
A lot of little bitches.
little bitches around here.
Well, the other thing is that Eddie clearly hasn't. He's actually gotten worse, it seems, based off of the interactions that we've seen on Instagram.
He's
Reposting things, which we talked about in our news episode, reposting things, sharing your whatever from a guy who says, I don't really want to do anything about this. You really have like no screen time at all. You barely talk while you're on screen. Now all of a sudden you're doing this on Instagram, defending yourself. You're turning into Tamra, which is exactly what we thought was going to happen. And you didn't do that for the longest time. And we quietly gave you props for that. But now you're turning fully into Tamra between that, the Watch What Happens Live thing last week where they're gallivanting around New York and he's on Instagram constantly talking about how he just had such a great meal. Like, enough. Go away. This is not about you.
The reason that they keep going on Instagram and why Eddie's being so outspoken right now, why you saw that weird story of them walking around New York being extra loud, extra quote unquote fun, is because of how poorly they came off in this episode. They clearly do not like each other. Eddie does not like being around Tamra.
No.
Watch his facial expressions throughout the evening. Watch how much he has to be on guard because he's concerned about the amount that she's drinking.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a happy relationship.
Oh, he's not her keeper.
Oh, but yeah, he's not her fucking keeper, even though he goes over to the bartender, a.k.a. Matt, and says, maybe
You're
let's
going to
not...
call him Todd
I
again.
was going to. And says, hey, maybe let's not serve her any more booze. Please. He doubles down with like please don't fucking do that.
Like begging.
So what you're watching in their response to all of this negative backlash is let's prove to everybody how happy we are. Let's make some very out of character Instagram stories where I am going to talk. I am going to act like I want to be around you because that episode played so poorly. And if you look at it, the faces that he's making at her, the fear of what she's going to do or say, the clear fed upness of it, if you will.
I
He's
will.
Simply fed up with the whole thing. And now they're trying to play defense because they came off like shit in that episode. They're coming off like shit on Instagram. Tamra's getting fucking sued because she can't keep her mouth shut. So now you're trying to...
Such a quick turnaround, too.
Dude.
That happened on Thursday. Her Watch What Happens Live was right after the episode. Ryan had that
Summons.
subpoena. I wanted to call it a subpoena, but yeah, or a summons. It's not a summons either. Let's just say
Something-
the lawsuit dropped. All right,
The litigator envelope.
he dropped that lawsuit off at her front door.
Yeah, he dropped it.
Wasn't there? Didn't he take a picture of it
Yeah,
on
he
her
posted
front
it.
door too?
Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious. And he posted it, immediately commenting afterwards, talking on like whatever the hell somebody posted, saying, "Oh yeah, don't worry about it. Like I already served her just this morning. She's already done.
Yeah,
3 days.
It's already been done.
Uh-huh.
And so now you're just watching those two try to pick up the pieces of this giant mess that they've caused very unsuccessfully
Yeah.
because people are tired of it. And that's why you're getting all these Bravo Lebs coming out going, yeah, fuck Tamra. We've been putting up with this shit for a long time. I'm so glad somebody's finally calling her out on her shit.
Well, she finally got caught saying something that you cannot say.
You can't claim that somebody stole millions of dollars and had their house raided by the FBI and they're involved in all of these crimes and legal cases without catching a case.
Uh-huh.
That's what happens. You fuck around and find out eventually. I'm glad it's finally coming down. But back to the point of like Ryan also being sketchy as fuck, and Bravo did him dirty with the edit.
Uh-huh.
He's sitting down with Matt, aka Todd, and they're discussing what Ryan does. I'm in real estate development. What I do basically is develop real estate for developers, but I don't have to develop real estate at the real estate because COVID. Home office, working remote. We're remote. We're developing from home in real estate. And I do that, and I'm working on a project now where we're developing real estate.
Actually, I'm working on multiple projects, like 9 projects.
Yeah, 10
11 projects.
of developing
Uh-huh.
real estate.
For properties.
Thumbs up. What the fuck do you do?
Could have just said real estate development. Why do people overshare like this?
Because they're fucking doing
I
sketchy
know,
shit.
But if you're good and like, if he's been doing whatever the fuck he's been doing for long enough, you'd think he might get good at it. Somebody like Ryan,
Like you think he'd brush it off like, oh, I'm in real estate development.
Yep.
Period.
don't ask any more questions.
You don't have to keep talking.
Leave me out of
bro.
it. There's cameras here, buddy.
There's and a microphone. That little box in your back pocket is a microphone.
God.
Just shut up, dude.
Ah, man. You know what Matt said in return?
Cool.
Work for the Golf Channel.
Yeah, I work. Yeah,
I'm a golf analyst guy.
I am a I'm a golf journalist.
Uh-huh.
Period. Do you need more explanation? Because you could say real estate developer, and I'd be like, okay, you develop real estate.
Yep. Pretty self-explanatory.
I got it.
Mhm.
Thanks for explaining it ad nauseum. And now you look sketchy as fuck.
Either he was sketchy or like overcompensating, but
Both.
so if you want to look at it in a different way that he's not being sketchy,
No.
yeah, maybe. He probably didn't know what Matt did. Had no idea. Walked in, saw the house. Everybody raved about the house and
House
the
is
backyard
gorgeous.
and everything. It looked great. Maybe he's like, this guy's super rich and he does something really cool. Let me act like I do a lot more. Let me overcompensate, which brings
It
us
was an
back to
insecure.
yeah, for the tailor, for the briefs, and all the crazy shirts. He's overcompensating left and right. Maybe that's it.
Oh, we're going with Ryan has a teeny peeny.
No. Well, I'd rather say Ryan has a teeny peeny than say something else that could get me a lawsuit. So yeah.
Yeah. What if he gets sued for that? That'd be funny as fuck if you got a court summons or whatever the fuck it is.
Better go back in those episodes and scrub my government name.
Get served, quote unquote, teeny peeny lawsuit. Teeny peeny gate.
That'd be great.
featuring Magoots. What if they did that? If they didn't have your legal name, if I did scrub it from every
That would be
episode.
incredible.
They're like Shooter Magooter versus Ryan.
Well, you know who would have to be summoned is the tailor for the briefs.
That-
And then I would represent myself just to ask that tailor questions.
yeah, just hey man, are you okay?
Yeah.
What's
What
going on?
happened?
Yeah, how do you do the briefs?
How do you sleep at night?
Anyway, we get to dinner, and Eddie reminds Tamra to pace yourself on the drinks. Tamra only has 2 drinks a night, Eddie.
Dude, yeah.
And here's the
Any
worst.
more than that, she's falling down.
The worst part for me in all of this is because I'm such an advocate for sobriety and for Shannon and her path getting her shit together. I don't like to call people out for this kind of stuff. I think
No.
it's dirty. I don't think there's a place for it. But when you are constantly throwing stones at somebody like Shannon and claiming all of these crazy things about her drinking, even though you have not been a party to her waking up and having a drink,
Mhm.
you love to say that one. That's your go-to line.
Oh, yeah.
But you go and watch What Happens Live and claim that you only have 2 drinks. You're not a big drinker during the week, X, Y, and Z. That's horseshit. So in this instance, fuck that. I've watched you all season be a mess to the point where I'm questioning your relationship with alcohol, and so is everybody else, and so is your husband. If your husband's sitting there trying to police your drinking to the point that he is now getting another person involved by him going up to Matt and saying that, hey, please don't serve her again, he's now letting him know that you have an issue.
Yep.
So now there's more people involved. So in this case, yeah, look in the fucking mirror. Once again, Tamra, take a look in the mirror. Not coming off as great as you think. Maybe put the glass down. If you don't have a problem. If you don't have a problem, put it down. Prove a point. Shut me the fuck up. I'll shut up. I'll eat my words happily. Prove me wrong. Emily gets to talking about the issue with the fashion show. Heather's not there, obviously, but she gets to explain very clearly like what her intention was, because some of the girls are questioning it. I think Tamra said, do you think she meant to put the size 12 on there? Was she trying to prove a point? And Emily's like, no, like absolutely not. At any point did I think that this was malicious intent. What I gathered from this is I just wanted Heather to see me and understand, by doing this, you put me in a strange spot that I don't like because it reminds me of my body image issues. It makes me feel singled out. It makes me feel insecure. And this is a great moment for Heather to hear that, if she was there, and understand, oh, you weren't coming at me. You're trying to help me understand so that I don't do something like this in the future and hurt somebody's feelings or make them feel lesser than. And it's so simple. And I'm glad that she can air it out here. I wish that she could have had this same conversation with Heather and Heather actually hear it.
I think so. I agree with you there, but I don't like, I'm more sad that she has to keep talking about it, because I thought it was pretty clear, and obviously it's easier for the audience to say this, but I thought it was pretty clear when she said it the first time. Her intentions, what she was going through, her feelings, everything that she was saying made a ton of sense to me. No one else was able to pick up on that. I get it if it's Heather, because Heather's the one who immediately felt like she was being attacked for it. So she got defensive. That I can maybe not excuse, but I can understand that part of it. The rest of the women not understanding sucks. That doesn't make any sense to me, that us two straight guys watching Bravo, can understand that in an instant. Okay, why don't you guys just hear her out and see what's going on? Ask her a couple of questions and make sure that she's okay. She's not claiming that Heather did anything malicious. She's not claiming that she was set up. Alexis, shut the fuck up. You have nothing to do with this. Again, don't talk. We don't want to hear from you. But the fact that Emily has now had this conversation like 4 times and people still don't understand it is crazy to me.
It's crazy that they don't understand it, 1. And 2, the fact that she keeps bringing it up shows you how much this kind of stuff affects her. And that's what really breaks my heart. And she now feels the need to defend herself. She's like, Shane, don't I work out every day? Now she's giving evidence to support her body transformation, and she looks fantastic, and she has put in the work. She
shouldn't have to do any of this.
No, but that shows you how deep-rooted that insecurity is, and that's so sad. And the fact that these women need multiple explanations, the fact that Heather can't get out of her own ass to just sit there and hear her out. Hey, she's your friend. This is a big deal to her. This is something that really stuck to her, and she wants to be able to move past it. You're making it more difficult by not just having the conversation, and like Emily said, seeing her, because this clearly lives rent-free in her head.
Yeah, I'm sure you made a really good point. I don't know. You said that Heather can't get out of her own ass. I stopped. I couldn't. I don't know.
Get out of her own ass. You know what I mean.
I don't know. I'm sure you made great points after that, but that one kind of threw me.
I did. I made a great point. And you know, it's coming from somebody with body image issues. I know that shit sucks.
It's coming from somebody in my own ass.
Yeah, I've been in my own.
All right.
Let's keep going. We get the People magazine article discussion, and that's when Tamra decides to give a little butt dial recap. And this is so fucking perfect, and I'm glad that she did this.
Yep.
I'm so glad that she did this, because this is Tamra Judge to a T, no pun intended. She says, Shannon's claim that Alexis is behind this whole thing. That's not what she fucking said. We heard it. This is where I get so confused by Tamra, because it's like, dude, you're on camera. You are mic'd up. We are watching this whole thing play out, and yet you still lie through your teeth, and then you defend your lies. Like, we're dumb. Like, we can't see and hear what's going on. You just fucked yourself in this scene by saying that, by saying something different, completely different than what was said, 1. 2, you're repeating a butt dial that you had no business listening to. And on top of that, you're going to fabricate what was actually said. Do you understand how terrifying that is? You heard a conversation you weren't supposed to hear. And not only that, you take it a step further and lie about it. So now Shannon doesn't know you heard. Shannon now has to defend a lie that you perpetuated because you thought it fit your narrative better because you're drunk at a dinner party and you want to fucking go after Shannon again.
Here's what I want to come from this. I understand this is how the show works. This is how Housewives works in general. When somebody states that something happened or somebody said anything and it becomes hearsay, one of the other women that hears this from the first person that states it will go and tell somebody like Alexis. So we could have a situation where Jen, Emily, or Katie go and say something to Alexis about what they just heard from Tamra, which then goes from Alexis back to Shannon. I need none of them to say anything. I need Tamra to go and tell Alexis.
Okay.
Because I don't want any, I just don't want any separation from any of this. I want it to be Tamra to Alexis to Shannon, because then it falls right back on Tamra. And Tamra has gotten away with so many things just this season of saying things behind people's back and removing herself from the situation so she doesn't get the blowback. She needs to get the blowback from this because this is awful.
I agree. I 100% agree. And then this bugged me with everybody. They're all giving their opinion. She should have just paid the money. Like, wouldn't you? Well, what would you do? What would you do?
Well, I hated that Tamra asked Ryan directly. Don't you have beef with this dude?
Yeah, that was weird.
Didn't your husband just shun him when he walked in the door and you're going to ask him a question about something unrelated?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
What are you doing? Like greasing him up so that you can go after him a little bit later?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. That's exactly what she was doing. She was teeing it up so she could go back at him. But I didn't like that they're speculating. Like, you're not going through it, one. Two, like, it's a nuanced situation in which if she pays the $75K and gives into all of his demands, it's bending the knee to him. And mentally, I don't think Shannon can handle that right now.
No, and also Johnny J is still going to go after her.
Yes.
Just because she pays him doesn't mean he's going to shut the fuck up. If we know anything about Johnny J and Alexis, they're not going to shut up. They're going to continue. And we're still waiting for Alexis to go on Instagram, or IG as she calls it, and tell us the truth.
We've been waiting.
We've been waiting. You've been talking about it for weeks in all the comments of random pages that you follow.
It's crazy. But Tamra calls out the elephant in the room. And that's obviously
the name of the episode.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's
Elephant
funny.
in the room.
Elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room is obviously Eddie and Ryan. And this is where the queen of hypocrisy puts on her crown and says, you went on a podcast and disparaged my husband and my name, and you talked mad shit about my business, and you said people came up to you and talked shit. Again, if we're gonna play this fucking game, this he said, she said bullshit, at the very least, let's make sure there's not evidence to go against what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because we have recorded evidence of him not saying any of the things that you just listed. And when you get upset about him, quote unquote, coming for your kids, he made a post about your son, who did send a dick pic when he was 18, who has also done a lot of very sketchy, shady shit, has a terrible reputation.
Like 40 years old
is
now.
a fucking adult.
Yeah.
So no, he's not coming after your children. He's coming after some dirtbag that he has every right to go after because you won't leave him alone.
And he's not even, and like, I think it's a poor choice of words for what he kept saying, because he just kept denying it, saying you need to, I don't even know the guy. I didn't do anything. He's still associated with the post, but it was a repost from somebody else. He didn't add anything to it.
No, he's
Tamra
reposted.
kept saying that he was adding to it. She said that he was comparing, I'm pretty sure she said he was comparing his own dick to Ryan's, which is weird.
Oh, is that what?
That she said that at one point. I'm pretty sure that's what she was trying to articulate. But
I just wants to fuck Ryan.
She's fucking bizarre. She's a weirdo. But he didn't do that. He just reposted a different thing saying, you should be worried about your own Ryan. So, yeah, of course he's going to repost that because it's funny. And you do need to worry about your own son because of the things that he's been doing. And he's 40 years old. So shut up. Stop acting like he's a teenager because of something that he did when he was 18. That's an adult. He's 40 years old now. Also an adult. So back off. She starts talking about how he went after Eddie as a businessman. He didn't.
Nope.
He didn't say a word about Eddie's business.
No.
He said that they walked into the gym. He didn't hear anything positive about you guys. That was it. When he was asked about your quote unquote saying that he was going after you as a mom, he didn't say anything bad about that.
Zero.
He recused himself from the situation. Maybe it seems like you might have an issue with the hosts of the podcast because it sounded like they were going on about how much they dislike you. And Ryan did not say anything further. He could have piggybacked off of everything that they were saying, and he didn't. He said he doesn't know, so he's not going to speak on that. So get your facts right, especially if you're going to land on the laurels of, I was just telling the truth. No, you bashed his girlfriend all last year so that you would have a storyline. He's now stepping up because you're including him in your conversations while you're on your own podcasts, and you think that because you're telling your truth that it's okay. Ryan can tell his truth too.
He can, and that's what drives me crazy is the hypocrisy. If you're going to do this, you got to expect the same in return. People are going to defend themselves when you're saying defamatory things. That's what's going to happen. They're not going to sit there and take it anymore, and I'm so glad. But this is where you get the dude standoff. You get Eddie versus Ryan. And to Ryan's credit here, he's like, I didn't say shit until I heard shit was being talked about me. Eddie's defense was, it 100% is true that somebody approached me and said, watch out for your wife. This guy likes to bang married women. Do I believe that happened? Yeah, probably.
Probably.
That probably did happen. Did Eddie then talk about it? Yeah. Is Ryan going to clap back? Probably. All of this tracks for me. This all makes sense. I'm not saying it didn't happen.
No.
But you can't expect him to be quiet about the whole thing. Ryan says, if you have an issue or you hear that I'm talking shit about your wife, that I wanted to have sex with her when I walked in the gym, or if I'm banging married, if you have a problem with me, Eddie, come up to me and say, I've got an issue with you, especially if we're now in the same circle, which I agree with. If you have an issue, fucking bring it to the person you have an issue with, especially if we're going to do the man thing, where we're being manly and bowing up to each other. If you're going to be that guy, Eddie, have the conversation with him. It's a bitch move to not have the conversation and talk shit behind his back with your wife. That's
Correct.
a bitch move.
Correct.
Go talk to him.
Also saying, I'm not her keeper. That's insane. 20 minutes ago, you just said to Matt, hey, cut my wife off for no more alcohol for the rest of the night, please.
Please.
That would be a keeper.
That's a keeper.
Seems like a keeper to me.
That's 100% what it is. But the response from Eddie was so fucking weird to me. I was blown away. He's like, why? Why would I? You're not a threat to me.
Bizarre.
You would never have my wife. Is he trying to fuck your wife? Just because you heard somebody say that when he walked in the gym, he said, I would bang your Tamra. Now your defense is, she would never have sex with you anyway, bro. That's weird.
It's bizarre.
It's a weird thing to say.
Cuck behavior.
It is 100% cuck behavior. And Ryan, another good point, who talks like this? And that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
You're at Matt's house, Matt and Katie's house.
And Todd.
You don't really know them. You just met Todd. And you are now sitting at the table, both you and Tamra, talking all of this nonsense. How embarrassing to be sitting at a table with adults and you're talking like this and yelling and all of this other shit. And you can see Tamra starting to tip over. She's starting to tip over. I haven't even mentioned the fact that she spilled a drink and then left it for other people to clean up earlier. She spilled her martini and fucking left it. That's where she's at right now mentally. Okay. She's starting to get amped up. And you can see Eddie trying to reel her in. He realizes, oh shit, this just took a weird turn.
Yep.
And she goes, how's the FBI working out for you? And Eddie's like, stop, please stop. And she goes, Ryan was raided by the FBI. You can't say that unless you know for a fact, unless this is 100% true, which we don't know. I haven't read anything that he got raided.
I didn't see anything that he got raided.
No, and I feel like that would be news. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I don't know if it happened.
Could have been. Maybe raided is a bit excessive of a term.
We don't know, though.
We don't know what happened. Maybe he was questioned.
So you know what you don't do? Say that his house was raided by the FBI for a multitude of reasons. One, it could come back on you and get sued. Two, if this man is an actual real estate developer or whatever the fuck he claims to do, it doesn't look like that's what he does based on the evidence. But if that is, you're going to fuck up all of his business because now everybody thinks he's a slime ball. That's the biggest issue I have with Tamra is the real life implications she tends to throw out the window.
Oh, yeah.
This doesn't matter.
It doesn't affect her.
It's a TV show. It's real life.
Well, that's the other thing that Tamra does is once it affects her, once it's something that she actually gets offended by, i.e. when Ryan shared that story about her son, she then gets activated.
Yeah.
Of course. But you do these things to people all the time. You go after people's families. You go after people's businesses. You go after things that they say and you bash them. Then you go on your podcast and do the same thing because you're not checked there because Teddy doesn't fucking care. She'll join you along that ride. So you do all of these things. But once somebody says anything remotely the same that you've said to them, gloves are off. I'm going to go after you for all these different things. Eddie knows that. Eddie tried to stop her because he doesn't want to deal with the backlash of any of that. And one thing I wanted to point out when she was talking like that, and Ryan brought up at your age, are you really going to do this? That's not age shaming.
Mm-mm.
Don't use that. He's not age shaming you. He's calling you an adult that isn't acting like an adult.
That's it.
Very simple.
Yeah, no, it has nothing to do with you.
That's just where Tamra was.
You could be a 30-year-old, a 50-year-old. If you're a grown-up, you don't talk like that at a dinner party, especially at somebody else's home.
Also, her leaving and Eddie not, weird.
Weird, and that just shows you they're not in a good place.
No.
And
Eddie had a blanket on.
he looked like a battered husband.
Yeah.
He looked like he was defeated. He's sitting there in a fucking blanket. He's been making faces at his wife all night long.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's sitting there curled up in a blanket, and you want to call Ryan a bitch.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying I don't
Look
get
at that. I don't get it.
I don't get it.
But let's get to some questions.
First up here from Holy Bex, Batman. Eddie Tamra separation storyline on the horizon?
We don't like to speculate. We don't like to root for marriage stuff.
Would not be super surprised.
Wouldn't be surprised. Let's say that.
From Katie K. Wilson, who's the most hateable this season? There's between two people, honestly.
I think it's different, though. It's a different reason to not like them. Like Tamra, I'm just so sick of it. I'm so tired of it. It's so played out. It's not... People on socials are talking about it, and they make some really good points where it's like, this type of behavior, Housewives behavior, is no longer what we want. This is played out. This is, 5-10 years ago, fine. This was kind of the vibe. It's no longer that. We don't want to see you peeing. We don't want to see you sticking your finger in buttholes, talking about buttholes. Like we have, I guess, weirdly enough, matured.
Yeah.
In some way, shape, or form.
How about that?
That's irritating in its own right. The Alexa stuff is just batshit crazy annoying. So it's a different type of hate. But I hate them both.
I agree with that. From It's Sin, do we think Eddie hates the cameras and the drama or hates Tamra's drinking?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's both, honestly.
Yes.
And I know earlier in the party he had even said something to her about slowing down, and then she spilled, and then he cut her off entirely. So that's definitely part of it, but I could see him also hating the cameras and everything. It seems like he's completely uninterested in the most part.
He just seems unemployed and miserable.
Yeah. From La_Nay, what's your opinion on Gina this season?
Entertaining as shit.
She is great for the show right now, and look,
She's an absolute train wreck.
unintentionally, she's like a top 3 in this show easily.
Yeah, because she is so just lost. Like, she doesn't have a direction right now. She came into the season with a plan, it seemed, and it went south quickly. And she has yet to regain her footing in the best ways possible.
All right, we'll do 2 more here. From Cassie Boertermine. Nope. Cassie Boertermine. Yeah, no, I had that right. Okay. Do you think that all the bullshit about Tamra will be brought up at the reunion? Yeah, I really hope that the reunion is... Obviously, we're going to have the Alexis and Shannon thing. They'll butt heads for a little while, but I hope the rest of it is just going after Tamra.
It's time. It's Tamra time.
Yeah, Tamra time.
It's Tamra time.
And one last thing here from Katie K. Wilson. Not RHOC, but who you got in the World Series?
Honestly, I think it's going to be Phillies. I don't think the Yankees are going to do it.
Nope.
I think the Yankees are going to
agree.
blow it. I think it might be Phillies. I don't think the Orioles have it either, which is crazy to say because I think the Orioles and the Yankees are the best.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're going to do it. I think it's going to be Phillies, Royals, which would be shocking.
I think it's going to be Phillies Tigers.
That seems to be the most plausible just because the Tigers are playing out of their fucking minds right now. But we've seen that before in the Phillies. They got to the World Series and they lost.
Yep.
So are we going to see a repeat of that? I'm with you. I think that seems to be the most plausible. The Yankees,
I like that one.
Yankees are so good at shooting themselves in the foot. And if the Phillies don't do it this year, I'm completely done with all Philly sports. I can't do it anymore.
Fair enough.
I just fucking
Until next year, yeah.
take the heartbreak.
Uh-huh.
The Eagles I can't even talk about them.
Sixers are moving to Camden.
Sixers are going to Jersey. I'm a mess. I'm a mess right now. But hey, right October, here we are.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, brother. Yeah, that's all I got. The last thing, if you are a Broad Bros member, we are planning on doing that tomorrow night. or I guess tonight, now that you're listening to this.
Yep.
Our community Zoom is tonight, so we will send out that link. Don't you worry. Other than that, you got anything else?
I do not.
Brop Bros are out of here.